Hey guys, just in time for another Flexibility Friday. What I've got for you today is a routine that I've kind of designed for those of you out there who are runners, cyclists, hikers, people who do a lot of leg work throughout the day. I've designed a routine that's great to stretch out those legs. Now keep in mind, you can do this even if you're not any of those things. If you sit a lot all day, this is also a great one to do. So go ahead and join me right here, right now. We'll get started with the routine. So I'm going to start out just by taking a few breaths and rolling the shoulders back, resetting my posture. I'm going to start with my right leg. I pick it up and I grab the foot, and I can take this other hand out to the side. Now what I'm trying to do is keep those knees in line and press my hip of the knee that's bent forward. Awesome job. Go ahead and switch sides, stretching out that quadricep. Good, and really try to breathe through all of these stretches, giving that hip a tug forward. Awesome job. Go ahead and come back to center. I'm going to take one foot out into a side lunge. I sit my hips back, and I should feel this stretch all the way through my inner thigh. And I just breathe here. Few moments. Awesome work. What we're going to do is come up and then just rotate this foot outward. So we almost come into a modified warrior pose, and then you can take those hands out. Just a little different feel there on that stretch. Awesome job. Go ahead and switch sides. Come out to a side lunge on the other leg, both toes pointing forward. Send the hips straight back and really dig deep into that stretch. Breathe. Awesome work. Then when you're ready, come up. Rotate that toe outward, coming into a warrior pose, keeping alignment there in that ankle and knee on the bent leg. Awesome job. Go ahead and come back to center. Then we're going to take the same sort of movement, a lunge, but we're going to take it forward instead. So you come into a lunge position, and what this looks like is the back knee coming straight to the floor and really pressing that hip forward to try and get a stretch through the hip flexor. So it's a little awkward, and you're really kind of trying to sit up tall. If you can, open up that body, upper body, through the rib cage and through the spine. Awesome work. Few more breaths. And switch sides. So we're going to do the same thing on the opposite side. You come into that lunge, you stick the knee to the floor and come forward with that hip. And then if you can, open up the body, and we're going to hang out here for a few breaths. Awesome job. Shoulders stay away from your ears. Awesome job. Great work. What we're going to do is take that same movement, a lunge, to the floor. So a foot forward, come all the way down. What it looks like from the side is just a lunge on the floor. Then you're going to lean forward so you get a stretch in that hip flexor. Now you can take your hands to the floor, and you'll get a little extra in the hamstring on the front leg. And then I try and push my pelvis into the floor, and that gives me the stretch through the hip flexor. Now if you're really flexible and you think you can, reach around and try to grab this foot. That's going to be a little bit tougher. So if you're really tight, you may not be able to grab it, and that's okay. What you can do is just lift up as far as you can to get an extra stretch in there. Just an option. Awesome work. Go ahead, come on back, and switch to the other side. So you find that lunge on the floor, you push your hip down into the floor, and watch for proper alignment in the knee. You can come to the floor if you'd like. And then if you feel good, reach around, trying to grab that foot, or just lifting if that's going to work better for you. And then you just hold, breathe through it. Great work. Come on out. What I'm going to do, I'm going to keep facing the side, but you can face whatever way you'd like. I'm going to come into a downward dog. My hands are right underneath my shoulders. My toes tuck under, and I press my hips to the ceiling. Now I should be stretching out my calves here, and I do that by pressing my heels into the floor as much as I can. And then I also think about pressing my tailbone into the sky. So my whole spine is straight and in line, including my head, in line with my ears. And I breathe, breathe, breathe. Good, press those heels down, get the calves stretched out. And if you'd like a little extra, bend the knees as much as you can. Now you may not be able to do much without lifting those heels, so just go as far as you can. Like you can see, I can't bend them that far, and that's okay. Awesome job. Come on down to your knees. Take a moment, and then come back to standing. So what we're going to do here is just stretch out the sides of the legs, the outer side. We already did inner thigh. So I'm going to take one leg behind, so my legs are crossed, and then I dump the weight into my hip of the leg that's crossed behind. Dump the weight into the hip. It's kind of like a diva sit, and I call this stretch the diva. Now from here, I reach over like in a crescent moon type shape. And I breathe in and just try and stretch out the outer thigh, the hip, and even into the lat a little bit. So we get a little upper body here as well. Awesome work. Try and keep that chest open. That'll give everything room to grow as you breathe. Your lungs room to expand, your diaphragm room to move down. Good. Now you're going to keep the same leg crossed over, and you're going to reach down to the floor. So here, you get a little bit of calf and glute stretch, and I rock back and forth until I find a good place to hang out. And I just breathe. Awesome job. Try and keep your spine straight and your shoulders away from your ears. That'll give you the best stretch. Awesome work. Go ahead and come up to standing and switch sides. So find that diva sit on the other side. Sit into that hip, and then when you can, lean over into that crescent moon shape. Really open up the chest. Lean into that lat stretch, outer thigh stretch, outer hip, and just breathe. Awesome work. That should feel really good. A little uncomfortable is okay, but we don't want to feel anything pulling. Breathe. Come back to center. Keep the legs crossed and hinge over to the floor. Stretching out what you can. Rotating back and forth, leaning side to side, finding that stretch. Awesome work. Go ahead and come on up. Make sure you're not lightheaded. Once you find your balance, go ahead and come onto the floor. I'm going to show this one from the side so you can see exactly what I'm doing. First things first, find that back nice and flat. Place your hands on the floor. Cross one leg over the other and just sit into that glute stretch. So I'm in a 4 position with my legs. One ankle crossed over the opposite knee, and I press those shoulders down and my chest open, and I just stretch that glute out. Pressing the knee towards the ground of the leg that's crossed over top. Awesome work. And go ahead and switch sides here. Double check that back. Reposition your legs and just stretch it out. So you should feel it in the glute, in the hamstring a little bit, and definitely the hips. Awesome, awesome job. Keep on breathing through all of this. Keep the back straight, shoulders down. Awesome. Good. I'm going to reset my feet and then just lay on back. So you're seated. You don't have to get back up. You just lay down on the floor. Take one leg up into the air and grab it wherever you need. Now that could be the back of your thigh, the back of your calf, ankle, wherever it works for you, and you're just stretching out that hamstring. If you want a little bit more, flatten the bottom leg. So you're almost doing the splits in the air is what we're looking at right here. Now, what you can do is pull that toe to your nose for a little extra through the calf. And that's an option too. If you can hold onto your foot, you'll get even more out of it, and you just breathe through it. Awesome, awesome work. Stretching out all those muscles, the back of your thigh, the back of your calf. Awesome. And then lower it down, switch. Take that leg up, find where you want to hold it, and then if you feel like you can, straighten that bottom leg to the ground. Grab wherever you can on that straight leg at top. Doesn't have to be up high on your ankle like mine is. You can keep it down here or on your calf. Either one will do. Like I said, if you want a little extra, bring that toe to your nose if you can. Just give it a tug, stretching out that calf. Awesome work, you guys. Good job. All right, I'm going to stay lying on my back. I'm going to take these knees up to a right angle. I'm going to take my chest open wide. And then I'm going to lean my knees to the right. So I give myself a little spinal rotation. And then I'm going to look to the left. So I look the opposite direction of my knees. I should feel my chest open up and my spine gets a little rotation in there. And the closer you can bring your knees up, or the straighter you can get your legs, the more you'll feel. So you get to decide where this stretches for you. Spinal rotation. It's a little awkward, but definitely a great one for your spine. Awesome job. Bring those knees in, back to center, and your head back to center. Drop the knees to the opposite side, the left, and then go ahead and take a look the other direction away from your knees if you can. Straighten those legs. Get a little bit more out of it. And just breathe. Great work, you guys. Really, really good job. We've got one more stretch. So go ahead and bring those knees in, head and knees back to center. And then we're going to come on to our last stretch here. So what I'm going to do is start out in a plank position, just so I've got some room under me. And then I'm going to take one leg, bent knee, underneath of my chest, and then drop the leg that's still behind me down to the floor. This is called the pigeon. Now, the closer you get this ankle to your hands, the more of a stretch you're going to feel. The farther you bring it back, the less you'll feel. So you kind of get to gauge where you want that foot in front. And you just press this hip into the floor. You should feel that in your glute of the leg that's bent, or the front leg. That hip should be kind of burning just a little bit. That's what we're looking for, is just a stretch there in the hip. If you want a little extra, take these elbows to the ground and hang out. Great work. See if you can keep that back nice and straight. Take one more breath in. Exhale it out. And come back to that plank position to bring that other leg forward into that pigeon pose. Like I said, same as before, the farther up you move that leg, the more of a stretch you're going to feel. Hang out here for just a moment. If you want a little extra, then now you can come to the floor. Keeping that back straight, that's what we're looking for. Awesome work, you guys. We're almost done. This is your last stretch. Give me one more breath in. Out. Come on up to standing. We're going to roll the shoulders back and then we'll be done. So give me a nice big shoulder roll. Reset your posture and you are all done.